Hey guys, Dr. Shannon Irvin here. Super stoked to be joining you today to talk about something that I am super passionate about. Something that literally held me back for years. And it's a shift in thought process and thinking. Yes, it's that beautiful F word, and y'all that know me know that I don't cuss, so you know that it means failure, that thing that holds back so many of us going for big goals and big dreams. I want to talk about that today. And I really want to be interactive. I want us to talk about this because this is something that I wish I had known so much sooner than I did. If we don't know each other, my name is Dr. Shannon Irvin. I'm a high achievement performance mentor, business coach. Basically, my thing that I love to do is to help people like you, amazing, goal-driven, go-getting entrepreneurs, master their mindset so they could slay their businesses. And I want to talk all about failure today. It's something that we don't love talking about, but yet when we come up against walls, right? When we come up against failure, 80 to 90% of entrepreneurs stop, or they utilize that result as information about who they are as a human being. So I know this is true because it plagues everyone in my mastermind, or used to. It plagues every high achiever that I ever talked to, that there's a moment between when they used to let their failures define them and when they actually started using them for fuel. So lots of F words today. So we're going to talk about turning that failure, really reframing it so you can start to use it as fuel, as like fuel. Thing that is actually going to get you to that next place versus the thing that literally holds you back, makes you shrink, makes you doubt, makes you feel like you're not going to make it, is evidence. Okay, this is a truth moment here. I took a big risk at one point in my business, and this was really early on, and it failed miserably. Okay. And for about a year, I took that as a reason that I shouldn't keep going for that particular dream. And it was a wasted year because it wasn't a wasted year. Nothing is wasted. But the character that had to build in me in order to actually turn that into something that ultimately became my nonprofit, Mosaic Vision, almost didn't happen because of where my mind was at. And that's why I'm so passionate, why I was crazy enough to go on and get a PhD in this stuff, because I found the keys. And then I studied all of these different people and in my PhD, as well as just in the opportunity to work with people, higher achievers, and being able to really help them get over these mindset hurdles. And I want to do that for you today. So let's talk about it. If you're here, join in. If you're hitting the replay, please say #replay. If you're jumping on with me live, let me know that you're here. I want us to talk about this together. I don't want to just teach you something. I want you to really get it at the core of who you are so that you can make today be the thing that is different for you and for your business and for your success in any area of your life that you're really taking risks. So, last week on All the Lives, we talked a lot about stories, and the stories that we tell ourselves really frame what we think we are doing. And I want you to see this in this way. If you have a story around what you think is possible in your business, then that story is going to govern the action that you take, and that action is going to govern the results you take. All the results are in the action. All the results are in the action. They're not, you can plan, and we all are planners. We all think, we strategize. All that's very important, but the results come in the action. And so if you have little belief, you're going to take a little action and you're going to get a little result. If you have big belief in your vision, in your goal, in your dream, and when I mean by belief, I don't just mean okay, you've defined your why and you know why you're doing this and you're absolutely, you're on board and you're going for it. But I'm talking about the belief that equates into certainty. There's a big difference between I believe this is what I'm meant to do. And I am certain, remember we talked about musts last week? This is along that line. I am certain that this is going to come to pass. Holly, I'm talking to you. Good, because if I can just get over there and hug your sweet neck and say, let's talk, because I was there and I get it, but it's about shifting the thinking behind all of the actions that you take, because all the actions you take are leading to either a maybe or leading to a certainty. And the action you're going to take and the way you're going to handle failure, quote unquote, is going to be entirely different if you're coming from a place of, I think this would be great if I do this, and I really feel strongly about it, and I believe I can. Now, it starts there, right? So that's not a bad place to be, but we need to move it from that place to, I am certain that this is what I'm put on the earth to do. This is my purpose. And like for me, my purpose is, like, Holly, I'm going to talk to you, like, if you can get this and you can just own it and say, you know what, I am certain that the purpose I am here for, and you know, only you can define that purpose. But for me, it's having people like you realize that everything, their success, their health, their energy, all of it is completely within your control, because everything that you've been given by your creator in your mind is you have the capacity to direct your thinking. And the fact that we have that beautiful gift means that we have the ability to train that gift. And that ability to train the way we think can create the results that we want. But we have to be certain. We absolutely have to be certain that we are going to get that end result. Because if it's I might get this end result and then you fail, well, what are you going to do with that? You're going to say, well, there's two responses to that, right? There's two responses when you come up against a perceived difference in outcome. And that's what I call things now. I don't call them failures. I just call them perceived difference in outcome. So you put yourself out there and you have this, of course, we're going to have goals. We're going to have dreams. We're going to have visions, and we're going to come short sometimes. So there's two different people, and I want to find out what camp you're in. Either you are the one that says, or either someone says like this, like you hit a roadblock, right? And then you realize, oh my gosh, it wasn't what I wanted. So either you start just like being really disappointed, blaming yourself, the negative talk starts. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not good enough. Oh, well, that stupid piece of equipment didn't work, and it's that person's fault. So blame is part of it. But it's typically that inward look. We start looking inward toward ourselves, and we start defining ourselves with meaning based on what external results came from that thing, right? That's one way of thinking about this. The other thinking, and what I will encourage you to move towards, is really how our 6, 7, and 8 figure earning impact making entrepreneurs do, is the thought process of, okay, I thought it was going to have this result. This is the result that came from it. So let me ask some questions. What did it teach me? Okay, I know I want to get here, and this is maybe not be the road to go. So should I continue trying this thing, or should I go a different way? Is there a different way for me to get to that goal? Or is this path really even blocked? Or do I need to tweak something? Is there something within this process that I need to tweak? So you see, it's a difference between, it's about my internal value. This result has some definition of me as an entrepreneur, or it's the external outward focusing. I got to be careful. I talk with my hands, and y'all, I beat up my microphone all the time. It's that external push out towards, okay, this is the result that came. And honestly believing this is the result that is supposed to happen right now so that I can learn this lesson, so that I can tweak it this way, so that I can, and you just start asking the questions. It doesn't define who you are as an entrepreneur. Every action step that creates a result is just the next step on the block, on the building blocks to the place you're going if you're certain you're going to get there. If you're certain, if you remove, okay, here's the thing. You got to let go of the anchor. You've got to unhook the anchor and you've got to pull yourself off the rope, right? If you're picturing a boat, this is the best way that I can give you a visual. A lot of us as entrepreneurs, we've got the motor going and we're trying to go out into the ocean, right? But we've got the anchor down into the sand and we've still got the rope tied on the fence. And the reality is you ain't going to get there because you're not all in. You're not certain. You're making sure you have this anchor still down there and this rope because they feel safe or they're known. And what you want and your certainty is out there. And if you stay tied to those things, you won't be able to go with the speed and the certainty and the mindset that you need to go. So we need to reframe it. We need to reframe what you're thinking when it comes to the actions you take and the results that come from them. And, that story that you tell yourself, are your failures, are your moments, your circumstances, are they saying something about you? If you're allowing them to define who you are, then that story is going to keep you in a place of continuing to repeat that same pattern. So it's time to break that story down. It's time to work through a new story. And certainty has to be there in order for that reframing to happen. So let's ask better questions. What's this teaching me? What does this mean for my end result? Is there another way to get there? A great example of this is when I first launched my Epic Success Academy. I tried just doing a really, really long challenge to a webinar. It was too long. And yes, we had a lot of great people join that were diehards and stayed through the entire process. But I realized what didn't work in this particular launch. And I was like, wow, it got a little heavy for me. And that's a big sign for me. Not that I don't mind working hard and I'll work hard. But if it's heavy, that's kind of your internal gauge saying, you know what, this isn't going to ultimately get you the result that you want. So I started looking at what works for me. How do I best serve my people? Again, outward focus. How do I serve my people? How do I honor God and serve my people and serve my tribe so they really get this mindset shift that's going to really explode their business? And I've worked with some amazingly successful 6-figure business owners that were in this kind of story frame where they were seeing fail. They took a lot of action. They were action takers. They wouldn't have gotten to a 6-figure business without it. But yet the story that they were telling themselves about when things didn't go the way they wanted to, it was, well, there was this reason, there was that reason, there was this reason. And I don't want to call them excuses because they might be truth, but the reality was, the biggest thing for those particular people I'm thinking about that was holding them back is they were still tied to the dock. There was still this, I'm going to still keep doing this one thing until this thing takes off. Have you ever said that? I'm going to still keep doing this because it pays the bills, and I understand that. And there's a way to do that without still being anchored, and we can talk about that a little bit. But I kept challenging them and said, come on, let's untie this Ferrari. Boom. The second they got that, 7 figures. A year later, 8 figures. Why? That wasn't any brilliance on my part. That was them finally accepting that they had to be fully all in, burn the bridge, let's go. I am certain that this end result will happen. So when you come up against something that doesn't match that, you just start asking the questions so you can discover the next step. It's just part of the process. Enjoying the journey and learning along the path brings joy and brings happiness into the journey so that you can approach each of those stepstones with the knowledge that you're certain you're getting there and it's going to happen. So I want to encourage you today, if I'm speaking to you, like if you've been trying some things and they haven't been working and you're feeling down on yourself and wondering, is this thing for me really? Do I really have what it takes? I want to really ask you to challenge that thinking of just ask yourself that one simple question. Is this just something I want to kind of maybe do? Or am I certain that this is my calling, this is my purpose, and I will see it come to pass because it's what I have to offer others. It's how I build others up. Once you can shift to that place, then everything that happens along your path of action is just a stepstone to get you there, the stepping stone to the next place, the thing that's going to get you to ask the question that is going to get you to shift 1 degree that's going to take off. So I want to encourage you today, look inside. What are the stories you're telling yourself when things don't go perfectly? And are you certain? Have you burned the ropes and pulled up the anchor and said there's no potential for failure because this will come to pass? So I hope so. There's a lot more work we can do in that area, and I just wanted to get you thinking about it today. I'll be back with you tomorrow at, we're going to be doing probably early, probably about 8 a.m. I'm going to see when most of you are here. We can be chatting about this type of thing. But tomorrow, I really want to dive more into how to develop that certainty and that belief and really start to help you take this engine that you have of your brain and apply it so that you can start getting exponential results. So I'll see you early in the morning, and I hope you have an amazing day. And remember, failure doesn't exist anymore. It's just a stepping stone. I can't wait to see the brilliance, the amazingness that you put out in the world. See you next time. Bye.